Okay, good morning everyone. So today is the 30th of January. Okay, so this is gold. Now remember with gold, yesterday in the video I said if we go up, there'll be time to buy if the price is right with the time on the daily pivot, okay, which was down here, I think. Okay, that's either, I think that, no, that was not the daily pivot. Daily pivot was lower and then just slightly lower though. And then the weekly pivot, and we had a 2,742 here, right? Remember yesterday? So the market did come all the way down into the weekly pivot, pretty much there with the FOMC. Okay, remember we had news yesterday. So that's fine. I had an entry here yesterday once. I had another one here, both covered. Okay, no dramas, but this one I entered again. This wasn't a time though. Okay, I entered on the weekly pivot with a tight stop loss. This one got stopped out. It's all okay though. All right, so the reason it's okay is because the stops are tight. As you can see, I don't put big stops. If you're using time and price, we shouldn't have to. Here's another example that I entered from today, because today we had a trading hour in the Asia session and the price looked right because this was where the opening and the closing price was yesterday. And so I decided to enter with a tight stop loss. As you can see, the stop is really tight. It's like $2, it's like $2, $2.50 max. Okay. And then I'm covering the trade here. And if it goes in our direction, okay, if it goes in our direction, I've got room to go. Where did I put that take profit? There it is. Okay, it's up there. We'll see how it goes. Okay. Now, today you're seeing a few more lines on my chart because, as you know, we're turning into a fintech. And so I'm adding some things on there as I move forward with it as well. So it's giving me some testing opportunity as well. But these are all from our calculations, so nothing really to worry about. Okay, so what should we be doing? Now remember, Tuesday was a swing day. Okay, so that was a swing day. So the pullback was a legitimate entry to go long. And now let's take a look at the daily. Now, because I did say gold is at high levels here, right? This is where they sold heavy. So we have to be careful here, all right? This is why we can't have stops too far, because if they do decide to sell like last time, and, it's fair enough, I'm expecting the market to come down a little bit more in gold so that we can push higher. You see, this is a big stretch. So this big stretch should come down. It should have a downwards motion as well, but the swing day was a good up move, so the pullback was legitimate to buy, and that's how we want to work on it yesterday. All right, so today I'm just following that up. I'm not doing anything against that technical analysis formation. And the reason like I said, I entered in Asia because this was not a bad hour at all. Okay, I said to myself, okay, it's not a bad trading time. We could get in here despite the fact that the daily pivot and the manipulation is lower. That's fine because the stop loss is tight. All right, so, and that's how it is. So with gold, we're going to have to be careful. The market should at least stop sweep these even highs here, okay, if that's going to happen. When we move up into these hours today, there's something interesting that might happen, and that's going to be in the New York session. Now, once the London session finds direction in the morning, which is going to be around 9:30, from 8 o'clock my time to 9:30, right? 8 to 9:30 my time is going to be a level, and after that the market's going to be pushy. Okay, and then so we have to be careful. We have to be careful when we're going into the London zone. All right, because 9:30 my time is not the London zone. 9:30 is a setup for the London zone. All right, it's going to be a setup for the London zone. All right, so be mindful. If the market goes up into there, into those highs, there's a possibility that it could also sell from that zone. which is logical as well. All right, so be mindful at that time. The other times where the market is logical to change is 10 past 3, okay? And that could, and from 10 past 3 to 4:30, it's going to be a little tricky. In fact, I'll tell you why it's going to be tricky. From 10 past 3 to 4:30, we're going to have a move that's going to go the other way. Wherever the market was going, we're going to have like a, retracement or whatever. And then from 4:30 to 6:20, it's going to be a little crazy. Okay, it's going to be a little choppy. We have to be careful here. All right. So that's one thing. The other thing is, once we find direction, okay, the market should push into 750 and then 850 to 950. They should be targets. Okay, so once we find direction at either 6:20 my time or 4:30 my time, that direction should kind of like hold until closing. Okay, it should keep going, but the first step it's going to go to is 7:50 my time. If it keeps pushing, which I think it should do because the value looks attractive, it's going to be pushing until 9 o'clock and 9:45, and after 9:45 will probably be around there hanging around. Okay, so I hope that makes sense. Okay, but just note those hours. They're already in the members area. Okay, so yesterday I did a lot of posts, and I'm doing them so that you can learn from them. Like you can learn from the experience and so on. All right, so I hope that kind of helps. Okay, so that's gold, right? So we have to be careful around here. This is where they sold off before. Okay. The general direction is long, obviously. Okay, we're going up and up and up, but this is a zone where we have to be careful, and therefore, whatever you're doing, make sure you're doing with a decent stop loss. If you're doing your price and technical analysis on no matter what you're trading, it should all kind of like work out. Even if you're wrong, it should be a small loss. Small losses we're good to handle. Let's take a look at the euro dollar. Now, euro dollar yesterday was also nice, because we said Tuesday and Wednesday are swing days, right? So there's your Tuesday, big push down. And I said on Wednesday we should dip down as well, and we did. And I did say yesterday in the video that 0380 zone was a good zone. And in fact, as soon as I bought it, I posted it, both for gold and the euro dollar. And you can see it went up there, came back down, went back up there again, and so on. So that's fine. Now this zone, like I said, is a bit tricky. We're right on the weekly pivot, and this is a trading hour. So I don't mind pushing the stop loss up a little bit from here to there. All right, so we'll just keep it in just that zone there. Remember, this trade is already covered from yesterday. Okay, so we don't have a drama with that. The trade is covered, and now we're just, moving stops up. Why? Because if this Wednesday, like Tuesday, oops, not this one. If Tuesday and Wednesday hold, okay, then, we should go up a little bit and then possibly come down. But remember the bigger picture with the euro dollar. The bigger picture is we want to see the price back in this red bar. This is where we want to see it, okay? And here we're willing to go heavy. And if you draw your lines, you'll see your goodbye kiss zones and goodbye kiss lines. And, this is basically where we want to see the market again, okay? So if you're going to buy in these little levels like I did, you have to be careful and make sure you're taking your profit and getting out of the trade, and make sure your risk return is at least on your first trade 1-to-1, and on the second one 1-to-3. And if you look at yesterday's post I did with the euro dollar, you will note, right? That the stop loss was really tight. Like, so I had an entry there, and it was like a 10 pip stop loss here, 1.0378 with respect to that. So it was quickly covered, okay? And that's how it panned out. All right. So this is, so having small losses, once again, I can't reiterate how important this is. Having small losses is not a problem, but having big ones is a problem, right? So if you keep them tight with your time and price, you won't get stressed out either, because the last thing you need in this short life is a stressful life. Let's take a look at SP500. Now with SP500, got the same kind of scenario yesterday with the news. It was a bit hectic. Now remember, with the indices, SP500, we had Monday, and then we've got Friday happening. If we can just get in there, just bear with me. Here we are. Okay, so that's your Monday. Okay, and then sorry, that's your Monday. That's your Friday, because Friday was a swing day. We were okay to sell on a Monday, okay? And then Monday, swing day, nice and low. As you can see, it went down, and from there it went up. That's all good. And now we've got the next swing day coming up tomorrow. So, you know, probably following up in that direction again, okay? So what to do with this one? You need to wait for the New York session, okay? And if it dips down, you know, you can buy maybe, or if it doesn't dip down in those hours, right? Remember, the important hours are the 6:20, 4:30, and 10 past 3, okay? So if the market comes down into here, it's okay to push up, because it should come back. If it keeps drifting up, they might sell off again. Okay, they might just sell off again into Friday, and that's also okay. All right. In London, they might push it down, okay, bring it down, and then, you know, once again, they may retest the lows to go back up. So we have to be a bit mindful and careful here. The tricky hours are going to be in New York, and if you stick to those hours with time and price, you know, it'll be much better that way. Okay, so in New York, if we're low at those hours, then you can look to go back up. But if we're high, then we're going to have to look to short it down. All right. Now the same thing should be for the Dow and the Nasdaq. Also, you should be aware of, oops, not this one. Yeah, you should be aware of the news, because remember, this week we're all about the news. Okay, so here we are. Oops, let's sign in. All right, so Thursday, with the euro, we've got news, interest rate decisions. They're expecting it to, expecting to bring it down. Let's take a look at the whole week. Okay, so this was yesterday. All right, you can see here, interest rates still the same. US is in a bit of a dilemma, because if they, oh crikey, if they bring the interest rates down, okay, they risk losing value in the dollar. If they keep it high, then the economy is going to be in stagnation. So that's also a drama. Okay, so they're a bit squeezed on both sides. So it's a little tricky with this dilemma here. But New York, not New York, but today we've got, as you can see, at 4:15, 4:30. This is New York opening hours. And you can see, because we've got news coming out during these hours, it's also logical for the euro dollar to be like, moving around, being volatile, and so on. Okay, so be mindful with the euro dollar, as well as I will be too. Checking the euro dollar before the news, especially at that 10 past 3, where we're going to have looks like a pre-news setup. Okay. And that's also going to be important. And then 4:26 is actually a pre-news setup. 4:26, just before that. Okay, so just think about that. This is coming out, and we've got also trading hours exactly at 4:30. Okay, it's actually 4:26 to be precise. Okay, we've got 4:30 here just to round it up. So you can actually set yourself up at, pretty much a few minutes before, if your platform is fast enough and your broker is a decent one. All right, so with this one as well, you can see this could turn into distribution, and then selling is not a bad idea. Actually, the Dow, selling the Dow, I don't think is a bad idea. We should come all the way into here, and it could just pretty much do that, because with the Dow also, remember, we had Monday swing day coming all the way up, and with Dow, Thursday is also a swing day. So Thursday, selling the highs, I'm okay to do so. You can do it from this zone here on the daily. See, that's a zone there. It's a zone here, daily zone here on the Dow as well. So it's doable. Okay. Let's take a look at NASDAQ. Now, NASDAQ filling in the gap and then maybe turning around, maybe the way to go. Okay, so this is NASDAQ. Okay, weekly pivot, also not a bad spot. In the news time, this is going to kind of like, during the news, we're going to see how things pan out. Okay, because the news is going to be the setup. As you can see, the market's still going up. It's all good. The market's going up. That was PST level, so pushing up. As you can see, 51 was 20,728. 57, sorry, just bear with me. 51, 2728. 20,728 is about here on the weekly, right? And that was done on Monday. And remember, Monday was a swing day, right, with NASDAQ. So Monday being a swing day with the indices, market coming into the weekly PST, it's just taking off. Okay, now the next swing day is tomorrow. So there's a gap here. So if the market comes down, going back up in there is logical. So you're just going to have to wait for that. But this looks like it's going to dip down first. There's room to close. If you're going to do the London session, selling into it may not be a bad idea if you're going to do an intraday trade with time and price. Okay. And then afterwards, we have to check it out, because this is now a resistance zone. If the market pulls back down with the news, we're going to see how things pan out. All right, I hope that makes sense. Okay, there's a gap here. This is why you need to be careful. Mind the gap. All right, and then Friday we might end up somewhere here. And then next week, you should also check your swing days to see what you can do with it. All right, they're already in the members area. So yeah, so on the pullback, going back up again, it's not a bad idea. Remember, Monday was a swing day. All right, let's take a look at Bitcoin. Now with Bitcoin, as you know, I did say we're in a sideways market. The market is in between. Yesterday it was in between. Okay, so in between, I said you have to be careful. If you're going to trade with your technical analysis in between levels, it's okay to do so. And this was a swing day yesterday, so I said it's okay. Because the market came down, you can go long with it. And now we've got a breakout. It's nice and easy. So we should be pushing back up. And the next swing day on that one is going to be on the weekend. So going up with it is okay. Back into that zone. On the weekly, there is room to go back up, as you can see. Oh, sorry, on the daily. Okay, yesterday I said you need to be careful for this zone. That could be a target, I did say. And there you go. All right, so that became a target. If the market retraces back down again, and if you want to go up with it, I think it's okay to do so. On the daily, the good buy kiss is already done. It's been here. So any decent retracement, even into maybe here, that's a bit low, but 102,246.58. So that is a good buy kiss. If it dips down, if it does something like that, you can. The other places to look out for, obviously, is going to be this zone, isn't it? Okay, because this is where the market broke out. So the daily pivot is one zone where you can pull back to go back up. And then this is obviously a gap fill level here. All right. So the market dips down, or from here, there are only three places you could do that. Coming here, stop sweeping, going up, coming down here, going up, or from here, going back up. If you're going to follow the breakout on the PST, which, like I said, is logical. On the weekly, there's room to go. And look at that PST. The lowest it did here is 61.33, which is, for us, 61.23 was the level. 61.23, 97551 this week. If I do this, 97551, 97, well, pretty much there. Okay, pretty much there. Okay, that's your Monday. And that's on the PST weekly, as you can see, right? So that's 61, 97, 551. Market comes to 551 is just there. Okay, so as you can see, it's like pretty close. Okay, you can't get any closer than that, I guess. And this is it. Trading hours, beautiful. Okay, probably there was a trading hour somewhere around here, but you see the weekly PST and then the market just going back up. It's all nice and easy. And then if we come back down again, going back up into that next swing day is also okay, but just be mindful of the gap. So the market should, if you're going to buy at a decent place, so you got some coverage and a stop loss that is tight enough.